Hey everyone, Tommy from Tech Nexus, and thanks for joining me on today's video. If you're following me yesterday, you would have seen that we covered some text and I briefly did a dimension, but today I wanted to have a look at actual DimStyles themselves. So before you start dimensioning anything on a sheet, you need to set up a style. So you can type in DimStyles or DimStyle, and you'll get this ISO 25. There's another one there called standard, but if we look at the ISO 25, so you can see it's all set up to be in white, but you can go through. So similar to the one that I've got there for standard, I've changed my colors to be magenta and magenta for lines and yellow text. If we go back to the default one, we can go through and just adjust all of those there as well if we really needed to. So lines, line colors, any extensions, any offsets, symbols and arrows, so what kind of symbols and arrows you want, so whether you want open or closed arrows. You can have tick marks, you can have circles, whatever else. You got values here for center marks, any arc length symbols, text options, so whether it's horizontal or aligned with the line, any offsets, how all the elements fit. So if the dimension is actually too small, you can tell it to put a leader or move the text over to the outside of the extension lines. Any primary units, so we can change that to be the period mark rather than a comma. And then once we're happy with it, we can go OK and we can close. And if I start doing dimensions, so you can see here it's 500 wide, which is obviously correct. But for what I do, and this is my personal preference, I don't like putting dimensions in model space. I like to put them in paper space. So if I have a paper space with a viewport here, so this viewport is already set to 1 in 5. And now if I do a dimension, you can see the text comes out bigger, which is obviously what we sort of want. So if I pick both sides there, you can see that it's true. So the benefit of this is, if I adjust this, let's go to the left by 50 mil, and then if I go back to layout, you can see the dimensions follow because that's just how they're sort of snapped, and all their settings are set up to follow the elements. So then from paper space, you don't need to worry about trying to find and redimension bits and pieces. The dimensions will flow with the elements themselves. And again, this is where I start doing text in paper space. So text in paper space. Okay, so again, it's always going to be 2.5, 3.5 mil high, whatever it might be, but it's not dependent on whatever you do with this element. If I shrink this down by 50 mil again, go back to paper space, you can see it all lines up there as well. We can have this viewport on and off, which we can go through when we talk about layers. Okay, so that's dimensions. There are other dimension options there. So if we go to the annotate, you'll see there are more options. So we can do center marks, center lines. You can do angular, you can do jogged, you can do sort of whatever it might be. If we go, we can do continue. You can see that it's going to continue from the last dimension that it did, depending on what you wanted to measure with. So if I do something similar, like here, if I just draw a line from here to here, okay, that might be something that I'm drafted, and I just get rid of those other dimensions. So then I can do the first dimension. Okay, and then you go continue, and you can see we can just continue that dimension there as well. Okay, so that's basically what continue does. We do have other options for angles, like I said, but excuse me, you can go through and just have a look at all of the dimension settings in there. If you wanted to see some more, on the quick access toolbar, we can go show menu bar, and then under dimension, you've got a whole list here as well. So you can see there we can do angular. So I can come in here and put the angle, and you can see that it says that it's 70 degrees. Diameter, we don't have any diameters in there, don't have any radiuses, but with the ordinates, you can come through and just start picking the ends that you want, and then you can go through and see the ordinates there as well. So again, depending on what you're doing, you do have a whole bunch of options in there. So again, if you're following, you got the dimension button here under the annotation tab. You've got the annotate ribbon, which does have some more dimension options, and you've also got the dimension options under the menu bar here, which gives you a whole bunch more of options as well. So have a look at those, see how they work with your workflows, and if you need some help, please make some comments below and I'll endeavor to answer them as soon as I can. So thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, but please do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to get daily notifications of all of my videos. And I will see you tomorrow for some more beginners introductions into something. Let's talk about layers, I guess, tomorrow. So I will see you then. See ya.